What's going on, everybody? Alex and Mike here with Auction of Champions, bringing you the Auction of Champions Sports Card Academy. What's going on, Mike?
Not a whole lot. How you doing?
Good, good. We got football going on. We've had a lot of people ask about football card collecting and investing. That is what this show is about, everybody. We are giving you the knowledge of who to collect, what to collect, when to collect, all that type of stuff, resale value, anything and everything. We will go over it during the course of this series. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel for more content. There's plenty of other series out there by us, so make sure you check that out. So today, Mike, we're going to talk about football cards. Specifically, you did some research on the 2016 rookie class for the Donruss Optic cards, PSA graded 10. So we're going to show you some spreadsheets, what position you're looking for, all that type of stuff. So, Mike, tell everybody about the research that you did here for the 2016 Donruss Optic rookie class.
So I thought 2016 was a great place to start because I knew it was a good rookie class. If you go back and you look through it, there's some great players in all sorts of positions. And so the big question with football is quarterback has always been king. What else are we looking at when we're buying into cards? What sort of gains can we see with some of the other great players in the other positions, and what can we do with that? And so with quarterback, and we had Wentz that I could have chosen. We had some other good quarterbacks that came out in 2016, but I narrowed it down to Dak and Jared Goff, right? Two great quarterbacks that have had pretty good careers so far already. And I tracked where they were at about a year and a half ago. There weren't a ton of sales in the January to April 2019 range, but I tried to find kind of what they were selling for consistently in that range. And then I looked at where all of these cards were selling in that August to September of this year, that peak that we saw in the market. Now, This is before a lot of those injuries. This is before the market kind of is seeing a little bit of a correction, but I figured this was a good range of how much growth you can see in the different cards and the different positions.
Right. Okay, so let's start here. We'll start with quarterbacks. We'll look at Dak Prescott, see where his value has gone since the research started. You have a ton of sales history on here. That is what the card looks like, everybody. And we got sales history back all the way to the, March of 2017, when this card was selling for the $30 to $50 range, somewhere in there, sometimes even less.
Yeah. And so with looking at Dak in that way, we see kind of a progression on that within the course of the year of where all these cards end up being. And one of the things that you'll find with a lot of these cards is March of 2017, that's when these cards started coming back from PSA, right? And so that's when they started hitting the market in the first place. And right away, we see a peak, right? We see them coming out, selling at $40 a piece, right when the going gets. And then as the season starts, as we're starting to get a new rookie class, everybody's buying up 2017 cards, as the quarterbacks are kind of feeling their way through, we see a dip. I looked up on September 28th of 2017. There were like 4 sales that day. The most you can get that Dak for that day was about $30, but you could see you could get it as low as, I think, $11.50 was one
13,
of those.
16, 17, yeah, that probably averages out to be about $19.
$19 for this Dak Prescott rookie. And so one of the things with that is when everybody's going out there and buying 2017 Prism, when everybody's buying the new round of Optic, we're seeing these cards kind of come down in price because the new things out there and new things popular. I was also looking 2017, that season, even with Zeke Elliott, Dak still gets off to a 2-3 start, losing 3 games to really bad teams. The 5-11 Broncos, the 8-8 Cardinals, even though the Cardinals are the best sports franchise in football. I don't care what Hunter says.
Right, sure.
But we even with a little lag in the season, he's starting to see kind of a leveling out in that $20 range.
Right.
And then since then, it's steadily going up with the kind of the dips every January through May when people forget that there's football around.
Mhm.
But we saw a steady climb up until it got up to 380 at its highest point this September.
Right.
Now, after the injury, I was just looking it up today. They're down to about 150 because he got hurt.
Yep.
So
good time to pick it up.
Great time to pick it up.
Great time to pick it up.
And that's one of the things we're going to say about a few of these players today.
Look for the dips. Capitalize on those dips because you know it's going to come back up. If you know Dak is, well, first of all, that's a tough injury to know if someone's coming back. We did see Alex Smith a couple weeks ago come back, which was awesome to see. I assume Dak will come back. Maybe not the same player. Hopefully, I don't even know if he'll be back next season, but we'll see. But again, it's a good time to invest if you think he is coming back and is going to be the quarterback that he was looking like at the beginning of this year.
Bridgewater might be, if he comes back looking as good as Teddy Bridgewater has this year.
Yeah, that is true.
And so we've seen, Goff didn't have quite the same trajectory as Dak, even with some better individual seasons, but it kind of follows very much the same pattern, even if he didn't have as much hype going into this year as Dak did. He, from that low that we've been talking about in that January to April of last year range to now, he's come up about 600%, which is a great return, nowhere near the 2,500% of Dak.
Still 600%.
Exactly. And so with Goff, one of the things is he is nowhere near the hype that Dak is, and percentage-wise, he's still right at or beating some of the best of the position players that we're going to look at, some of the specialists.
So what we're focusing on here, everybody, is basically what position if you're looking to invest in football cards, what positions give you the best return? And we've already told you basically it's quarterback. Quarterback's the guy who's in all the commercials, all that stuff. People love the quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, it's very, very hard to win. If you don't have a good running back, you can still win. See the Patriots for the last 20 years. So quarterback, and then you see spikes in guys like when they have seasons like Michael Thomas did last year, which I must say I predicted that he would break Marvin Harrison's record. Just going to drop that in there. Something like that, you see his value will shoot up when something like that happens.
And with that kind of that transition to Michael Thomas, we saw a crazy jump, right? It went from a $15 card before the 2019 season to a $300 card going into this year. Now with the injury, again, this is another guy to buy if you think he's going to come back even stronger than ever. But he had a 2,000% jump in that time frame. Now, I was looking at that, and Dak still had the higher jump, but I found I found 4 years where a position player, one of those specialist players, sells for better than the best quarterback of that class. And so in 75, Lynn Swann sells better than either Dan Fouts or Joe Theismann.
Okay.
86, Jerry Rice sells for better than Steve Young.
Jerry Rice, yeah.
89, Barry Sanders sells for better than Troy Aikman. And that's a narrow one. That's close. And then 93, Jerome Bettis sells better than Drew Bledsoe.
Wow. Okay. So what you're seeing there is that those are all Hall of Fame players. Barry Sanders, some people argue, is the best running back of all time. Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time. So that's what it takes to top a quarterback. So
exactly.
Quarterbacks are what you want to be investing in. Unless you have a guy that you think Saquon Barkley is the next Emmitt Smith or something, then you go for Saquon Barkley. It's not that you're not going to make money, but you're going to make more money investing in the quarterbacks.
And there's always the years, Walter Payton's better than any quarterback that played in 1976. I am and so, if you have that once in a generation talent, right? But you're going to see consistently year over year, the quarterbacks are going to sell better than these position players. Michael Thomas coming into this season looked like one of those once in a generation, you're never going to beat him type of wide receivers, and his prices reflected that. Now, is he going to come back and be as strong as he was before? You can see this in 2017, maybe, right? 2017, Christian McCaffrey last year, at least from a fantasy perspective, Christian McCaffrey put up one of the best seasons you'll ever see.
Yep.
But he's going up against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And nothing's going to top Mahomes.
No.
So,
Mahomes is the man right now. So like we're saying, everybody, quarterback. Let's look at some other numbers. We have Michael Thomas pulled up here where you were able to buy this card about a year and a half ago for $14, $12. And then you're seeing 200, 300, 100, 172, 132. So definitely climbing up after the season that he had. Let's look at Super Bowl champion Tyreek Hill. Not nearly the jump. Let's see what percentages you had on here.
450%.
Right,
jump.
450%. Still a great jump. When you get a guy you get his rookie card graded 10 in this series, you're not going to lose money buying it for $20. If you get a guy like Tyreek Hill, you just wait for something to happen, have a great season, win the Super Bowl, whatever it is. His value is going up. You're not going to lose money, but you're not going to make as much money, even though it's just Dak Prescott who's won nothing. He's just such a popular guy that his value is just going to go up and up.
Exactly.
So let's look at a couple other positions. You got running backs on here. This is a great rookie class, by the way. Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is an absolute beast. Yeah. So Ezekiel Elliott, you got numbers back to the beginning of 2019 on here, where it's $15, $18, $22. And just this is a good example of steadily climbing up. 27, 39, 46. Now we're getting into the summer of this year before the season started. We're getting to 67, then 95 in August. And now we're climbing to 120, 160, 120 again. So you're seeing consistent climb. And again, once the season starts, you're going to start to see prices go higher and higher. A great time to buy is in the off season. If you think that guy is going to come off maybe a down season or something, maybe had a sophomore slump, and you think he's going to come back and be the rookie that he was in his third year, great time to buy off season over the summer or beginning of the year when there's no football. A great time to pick it up when somebody's just trying to get rid of it.
And to go on top of that, one of the things that we were talking about right before we started, when do you buy? Everybody's right now is super excited about this 2020 class, right? Jerry Jeudy looks great. CeeDee Lamb looks great. Joe Burrow is going to have a great season, right? Everybody's excited about this 2020 class. There are a lot of the good rookies from 2019 that are getting ignored, even though they're still putting up decent seasons with everything going on. And so kind of like that worried about a sophomore slump, Daniel Jones might be a great example. His team has a terrible record right now, but his team also doesn't have Saquon Barkley.
Right.
I was tracking this. That's why I looked up Dak's 2017 year. He had Ezekiel Elliott, and he wasn't putting up a great start to 2017. Daniel Jones doesn't have Saquon, and he's not looking all that much worse than Dak did at that point. And so since everybody's throwing money at Jalen Hurts, at Tua, at Burrows, maybe now is the time to sneak in and grab the Drew Locks, the Daniel Joneses, some of those guys who are getting ignored.
Second-year car, they're getting forgotten about a little bit. Again, Daniel Jones having a terrible season because he's on a terrible team. I mean, he does. Darius Slayton looks great, by the way, but he's got nobody on that team, no help whatsoever. Hopefully they don't give up on him too early if they somehow end up with the number one pick next year and take Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that would make sense yet. I definitely see the Jets doing that. I don't know if they're going to move on with Darnold, but that's a great point to pick up the forgotten about players when people are excited about a different class. So let's move before we go into, let's finish off these other positions. You got Derrick Henry on here, few examples. He's pretty consistent this whole year. The guy's just a monster. He's just that guy that just can't be stopped. You saw him toss, who was that? Josh Norman last week, just tossed him to the floor. It was awesome. You got not a lot of examples of tight ends. Austin Hooper is the one guy you got on here, $21. But again, tight end, unless you're getting like a Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski type, it is hard to invest in a tight end. And you threw a defensive player on here, but it's to note that there's no sales since November 2018, which means you see that people are not really investing in the defensive players.
And even if Joey Bosa is, one of those great defensive players, there's not a lot out there. You know, there's
Right.
Charles Woodson, there's Richard Dent, there's a couple defensive players, Deion Sanders, that get some love in the hobby, but they're few and far between.
People love quarterbacks. So again, here's the numbers that we had. These are the percent increase you see in the sales research that we did. Again, you get 2,000 because of Michael Thomas's season. He broke an NFL record that had stood for a while, Marvin Harrison's reception record. There's a reason why his Instagram handle is "Can't Guard Mike," because you just cannot guard him. He doesn't drop the ball. But Dak, 2,500, even though he has taken the Cowboys to the playoffs, but has never really had a great record. I mean, he just there was that one season that they lost to the Packers at home in the playoffs when they were the best team in the NFC. But still, Dak, quarterback is what we're trying to tell you. Invest in the quarterbacks. If you like the running backs, the receivers, they're still good to invest in. You're just not going to make as much. Exactly. So maybe a middle-of-the-road quarterback will make you more than the top receiver or running back. So exactly. Let's get to, now that we talked about the 2016 class, you mentioned the 2019 class when everybody's talking about 2020. So what rookie class do you recommend buying? Obviously, we talked 2019 already, but what else would you say who to focus on in the last, say, few years of football?
2019, obviously, it's a great time to buy them. 2018, we're seeing this year, Josh Allen is really coming into his own. And it's much more the case in basketball, but you see it in football too. If they a lot of players make that jump between the second and third season, and so there's a couple of those guys that are coming around and really starting to show off what they're capable of. And so I think there's still a lot of great talent in 2018. The other thing to talk about is 2017. We talked about McCaffrey and Mahomes. And those are guys that are clearly driving that market. But then you get the forgotten players like Dalvin Cook, who's amazing. You know, Juju, another great quarterback or a great receiver. Watson, he's having a tough year. Maybe a new coach is going to help him out. Right? These guys are getting forgotten about because of who's at the top of the class. You might be able to make some good buys there. Yeah,
you even go even further down the draft. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Alvin Kamara's in there. So another pretty good class, another good class to invest in. Obviously, Mahomes, if you didn't get in on him early, it's probably too late to make a ton of money. His card still sells for a lot, and if you think he is the next Tom Brady, you can still be investing in this and holding to make money on him.
Yeah, you're not going to make the huge percentage, but I think Mahomes is a safe bet to hold on to for quite a while. I think he's going to look real good in a Chiefs uniform for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think he is going anywhere anytime soon, and he's got a ton of money coming to him.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our show for this week, everybody. Football card investing. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see us discuss in the future, like a couple people suggested this, so we went with it. So we can discuss anything you want. Drop in the comments what you want to see talked about. If you want to learn about anything, you have any questions at all, please drop it in the comments. You could also send us an email, info@auctionatchampions.com. Happy to answer any questions that you have about card collecting and investing. And check out auctionatchampions.com. We have weekly auctions, no reserves on anything. There's tons of cards in there all the time. We do bonus card auctions all the time. So if you are looking to invest, it's a great place to do it, as auctions start at $10 with no reserve price. We also do sealed wax boxes of cards. If you like opening packs of cards and stuff like that, you can get some good deals on those as well. Anything else to add, Mike?
Nope.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bid like a champion.